Welcome Resident Evil fans, today it's time to paint Enrico Marini. Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Yes, as the intro suggested, we are going to attempt to paint up Enrico Marini from the Resident Evil board game by Steamforged Games. This was released last year now, because I'm painting in the new year. In case you haven't noticed, I've had a bit of a hiatus. I've not painted up any minis over the festive period, so I am back with this guy. The only reason I've chosen this guy is because in my home game we have drawn him, and he is now one of our survivors, so he will be the next to be painted up. If you would like to support my channel, I do have a link in the description, a PayPal link. If you'd like to go on there and just donate to the channel, support the channel, then, and if you put a request in of any of the models, I will try and get to them as soon as I possibly can. But yeah, so let's get into painting Enrico Marini. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do on Enrico is we're going to go in with Kislev Flesh, and this is for his skin, and it's going to be all over his skin parts. Straight on, and it should only need one coat, but do two if you find it requires it. This was base coated in Army Painter. Actually, you might need two coats. Brainmatter Beige. It was also, the model was washed and prepped in a warm bowl of water, and then scrubbed with a toothbrush. That's to get any release agent off. So yeah, then it was undercoated. That's the best way of doing it. Otherwise, the model can occasionally come out shiny if you don't scrub off the release agent that they use to release them from the molds when they're cast. So make sure you do that before you undercoat. And depending on what undercoat you use, whether it's a white or a darker colour, you may need to alternate with change up the amount of coats you do, but this will probably actually need two coats, I think, on the skin. So we'll get that finished and we'll be back. Okay, so whilst the skin is currently drying, we're going to go next onto his trousers. And in some of the art I've seen, he has green trousers, so we're going to go in with Orruk Flesh. As always, give your paint a shake, and you always want to thin it down. I'm using here a Army Painter wet palette. I highly advise getting one, because they do keep your paints usable for longer than doing it on like what I used to do is just put it on a table and stuff, and then, you know, take it from there. But it definitely helps, or just like a regular paint palette. It definitely improves the flow, and you can sort of recover it afterwards as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, just get the green down on the trousers and we'll be back. Okay, so the next step, whilst that's drying, we're going to go in with Grey Seer, and this is just to strengthen the base coat of the his jacket. We're doing this because we want a nice solid colour, because we're going to go over it with a washed down contrast, because it is a greyish colour, so we want a nice base to go by, like that, like so. You can skip this step if you got a good coverage with your spray, but I missed a bit on here slightly, so that's why I'm just strengthening the colour, just so I can get a better layer later on. I'll get that done and we will be back. You can see that strengthened the base colour. It's still wet, but we're going to the next step. We're actually going to go do the same thing as what we just did in the previous one, but with Ulthuan Grey, and these are going to be on the sleeves of the t-shirt underneath. And again, this is just to strengthen the white or the Brainmatter Beige underneath, ready for a light wash of non-oil later to give it a bit of depth to the shoulders, to the sleeves. So I'll get that done and we'll be back. Okay, so that's the sleeves done for now. Next we're going to go in with Black Legion, and this is just going to go on the boots, the gun, the gloves, his belt and his satchels and stuff all around his waist. So yeah, get a thin brush for this so you can get a bit more control on the belt, because at this point it's getting very close to other parts that you've already previously painted, so you want to make sure your control is top notch here. Be patient, use a fine brush and you should be good. So I'll get that done and we will be back. Okay, so also did his hair and his moustache black with the Black Legion contrast paint. Next we're going to go in with the contrast Basilicanum Grey, and we're going to thin it down sort of 50-50 with contrast medium, and this is going to go on his vest. And what this will do, hopefully give it a nice sort of greyish colour, leaving some of the lighter areas, the higher areas, still a lighter grey. So mix this in a bit more. It's about a 50-50 consistency, and then just run it on like so. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Hopefully it will look alright. This is going to be for his vest, his S.T.A.R.S vest. So we'll get it all on and we'll be back. Okay, so that's currently drying. I do quite like the way that the greys turned out on that jacket, but I have to double check, see what it comes out as when it's dried. I did go over with the same, I thinned it down slightly more. I added a little bit more of the contrast medium to the mix, and then did his sleeves. There is a slight difference between the two, which is okay because it was a different base coat, and we are going to highlight up separately to a more of a white for the sleeves and leaving the jacket grey. But next we're going to go in with Biel-Tan Green, and this is going to wash the trousers. So get a bit on our brush and yeah, just chuck it on the trousers like so. And try not to get any on the other areas like the skin, otherwise you just have to go back and correct it, but not the end of the world if you do, but just try and avoid it if you can. So yeah, I'll get that finished and we will be back. Right, okay, so that's the trousers currently drying. The next bit of wash we need to do before we leave it all to dry is Reikland Flesh, and this is obviously for all his fleshy bits, his skin, his arms, his face, all those nice bits. Again, always give your paint pot a good shake, and yeah, slap it on. And we'll be back once it's all dried. What I did miss is the little bit on the back of his glove. I'm going to just do that in Leadbelcher. So nice and easy, like so. Nice easy step. Okay, so that's coming along nicely. I just quickly went over with the Basilicanum Grey and the contrast again, the same mix on his jacket again, and this bit on his vest, just to darken it a bit. Not too much, but just enough. So next we're going to start on his badge. So for that, we need Kantor Blue. Nice easy step this is. Just fill it in where you can, like so. Probably need 2 coats just so it's dark. Like so. Be back when that's dry. Okay, so it's starting to look quite good. I had an idea, so what we're going to go in is I'm actually going to use eyes at this stage, and this is to reduce the amount of corrections I might have to do if I'm really rubbish at getting it exactly in perfectly. So I'll go back when I highlight the skin, doing any corrections, and for that we're using Ulthuan Grey for his eyes. And then yeah, you just want a very steady hand, very thin brush. So, try to get the other one done. Do that off camera. And that's his eyes. Whilst we've got Ulthuan Grey out, we can just go in with it and just highlight the sleeves. So you want to go over 90% of what was covered with the wash, and that should do ya, like so. And same with the other shoulder, like that. There you go. I'll get that finished and we'll be back. Okay, next we're going to go in, we're just going to use a pinprick of black for the pupil of the eye. I'll do that off camera just because it's a bit easier. It's the pupils on the eyes, so we're just going to tidy up the skin now. We're going to go in with Kislev Flesh, and this is just to tidy up a bit. This will help tidy up the eyes as well. So again, you just want to get a good coverage of about 90% of what was covered with the Reikland Flesh shade, leaving the darkest bits dark. I'll get that done and we'll be back. Okay, so he's looking. I think his eyes look alright actually, not too dirty. Again, you don't have to worry too much about his eyes if you're not confident. I'm only doing it because the more I do it, the better I get. So you're not gonna learn unless you try. You're not gonna get better unless you try and fail sometimes. But anyway, I'm gonna do a final highlight of the skin with elf flesh, and this is just for the highest points. So again, we don't need a lot on our brush. And then yeah, this is just for the absolute highest points, the sharpest bits, like here, maybe top couple of fingers, and just accentuate some of the muscles, and at the bridge of his nose, and maybe the tops of his ears, which is a jawline. And that's all you really need for highlights on these bits. Yeah, skin done. Happy with that. Okay, so next we're going to go in with Orruk Flesh, and this is just to go back over his trousers, gradually highlight back up. I'm going to keep some of this shade in the recesses. So that. I'll get that finished and we'll be back. Okay, so that's the greens done. Next we want to start highlighting up on the blacks. So for this we're going to use Dark Reaper. There's the first highlight. And this is for all his pouches and boots, his gloves, and even his hair. There's the curved edges on the boot. Laces. Just the trim there. Anyway, you think the light might fall. These are his gloves, the fingers, each individually. And the bits that the light will hit like that on the curved bits. And then the edges on his pouches. And like the top of his pouch there. The edges. On top of his belt. Like so. Okay, a bit there. And then a little bit on his moustache. A bit on his hair. Like that. Don't want to go too mad. For his hair, if you make sure most of the paint's off your brush, do more of a dry brush, so it's a very subtle highlight, which I think works better for hair. But yeah, I'll get that finished and we'll be back. Okay, so the next stage highlights for the blacks is mixing a little bit of Ulthuan Grey in with the Dark Reaper. This gives us like a mid-tone. See that on my wet palette. And then just sharpest edges and the highest points. Like so. And his gloves, his fingers on his gloves. This right there, this curved bit. His fingers. His pouch, the sides, like that. The edges. So the back here and here. Again with the hair. Just very ever so lightly. We don't want overpowering. Just a slight highlight on his hair. Like so. And the rest of his boots. So I'll get that done and we'll be back. Okay, and the final highlight on the blacks is Ulthuan Grey, just straight from the pot. Well, watered down, thinned down, obviously. Don't want it too thick. I want it to run smoothly. And this is just like sort of point highlighting, so just on the very curves there, like there. Little point of light on those. And then on the gloves, like just a point. And then this bit here. And in the corners. That's it. Curve there. Yeah, don't go too mad. Just a few point highlights. Also with this, whilst we've got Ulthuan Grey out, we want to do like an edge highlighting of the badge. It's sort of very, very subtle. Not be too much there, but you know, very subtle edge highlight. It's because the S.T.A.R.S badge has got white in it. So, okay, so I just tidied up with a bit of the original blue on the badge. We're just going to finish it off now with Averland Sunset. This is just to dot the 3 stars in. Don't have to go anything special with this. Just 3 dots does the trick. You use the 3 foot rule. If it looks good from 3 feet away, then there's literally no need to go too mad. So you want 3 dots. 1, One, we want to make sure it fills in solid dot. 1, 2, 3. So, you can see there's not a huge amount of detail in there, but if you're looking at it from 3 feet away, it looks good. So we're very nearly there now. Okay, and so the final highlight now on the, this is going to be on the gun. We're going to use Leadbelcher. This is how I always do regular guns. Anything that isn't, you know, a focus point of the model. Like the characters that have big shotguns, I might do a bit more detail on, but for all these sort of pistols and stuff, handguns, just a little bit of silver highlighting to show it's metallic. Like that. Don't have to go any more crazy than that. But yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit of blood to him, because in our game, the way he was found, he was slowly bleeding out, and you had to heal him with a first aid spray. So I want to replicate that. So I'm gonna be doing that in a moment. So for this, what I'm going to use is Blood for the Blood God technical paint and a sponge. And I can't find my things to hold it, so just dab it on a bit of paper on your skin like that, just to get most of it off, and then just maybe just a little few dabs. That got a bit of a bloodied arm. That's it. Don't have to go too mad. Don't want it too crazy. Maybe a bit on his vest. There you go. Don't want to go too mad. Just enough to give the model a bit of interesting. Maybe on his leg a little bit. Bit of character to him. Yeah. And the final bit, we want to write stars on his back. So with a very thin brush and a very non-shaky hand. Again, you don't have to do this bit, but I always start with the middle letter, which is an A. So I slap that in the middle of the back. Like so. And then I'll just work outwards from there. So I'll get that done and see how it turns out. And there you have it. So that is the completed Bravo team. S.T.A.R.S captain. It was quite an easy, straightforward guy to paint today. Our brave Bravo leader, Captain Enrico Marini. So yeah, if you like this video, please leave me a like and subscribe. Sharing would also help. If you would like a particular model painted up ASAP, all you need to do is donate to my channel, and I will try and get that done within 7 days, painted and uploaded. So if that is something you'll be interested in, please follow the link in my description. But yeah, all done. I quite like how it turned out. Another one to add to the brave S.T.A.R.S members. And there they all are together, all the painted S.T.A.R.S members thus far. So yeah, slowly making our way through them. Again, if you would like to leave me a like and subscribe, please do. And we'll see you in the next video. Happy painting and Happy New Year.